So today we're going to show you an activity that we actually really love doing ourselves back in Myanmar. But it can also be a really family-friendly event, should certain rules be followed, of course. Karaoke is one of those activities that you can do in many different forms. For the daring, there's karaoke in bars, and for the more inclined enthusiasts, there are dedicated private rooms. People even regularly karaoke at home. I mean, if you know any Filipinos, I can pretty much guarantee they have a pretty baller set at home. But you can even find some inexpensive at-home karaoke sets online, inclusive of microphones, built-in audio, disc lights, from prices ranging around $25 to even a couple hundreds. But I'll say this, it's just not the same. And from our experience, that tends to make the activity more of a headache with the kids screaming in your ear all day, rather than a fun, family-friendly event. So now we'd like to take you and show you our experience taking our kids karaoke, hoping to bring back some fond memories for ourselves and make some new ones with the little ones. Here we go.
Esther, where are we going? Where? Karaoke, yay! Okay, on y va.
Now, since we don't have a car, we usually bike everywhere. Sometimes we offer public transport, but it's not always convenient and sometimes requires switching trains or buses a few times. With kids, you really have to plan the most straightforward and convenient option for you. Otherwise, you spend most of your day commuting and stressing about commuting. Now, before we get to our karaoke place, I wanted to talk a little bit about the options. Now, in the Netherlands, there's a handful of karaoke bars with private rooms. Notably, one of the most popular is Duke of Tokyo, which has branches in big cities like Amsterdam, Utrecht, and since last month in Rotterdam. It's a pretty fancy establishment. Flashy rooms with neon lights, extensive drink menu with premium cocktails, and tasty food apparently. Now, Dario and I went to the Utrecht location for a date night without the kids. It was well decorated and all, but perhaps compared to our experiences in Asia, it was a bit underwhelming, at least for the price comparison. We spent around 120 euros for 2 hours and a pitcher of beer. Keep in mind we had to book a larger room because the small rooms are fully booked, but still, that was quite an expensive night without food. Then again, we are in Europe, and making a comparison like that is comparing apples to potatoes, and you just don't. Anyway, we had a good time, but you might want to consider looking at cheaper options. We found a nice local karaoke place called Dike Mike Karaoke Bar, which, contrary to Duke of Tokyo, actually offers both private rooms and open mic nights for the partygoers. Not to mention, this place is located in a really interesting area, underneath old railroad tracks, and next to a food hall and with all types of bar games, a brewery with some pretty tasty beef fries. I guess before the new Duke of Tokyo branch opened, this was the go-to karaoke place around here, so having all these options around makes sense for a full night out. More on that later. Now, back to our family experience. We did karaoke once before for our youngest's baptism, where a bunch of friends flew in and we wanted to show them a good time. We didn't know what to expect and probably were expecting the worst, but we figured, hey, how many adults does it take to manage an infant and a toddler? We'll be okay. And it turned out to be a great experience. Our 3-year-old loved it. He was running around, singing into the mics, and joining in on all the fun. So we thought, this can be our thing. You know, we enjoy singing. Our kids seem to be okay with it. So we tried it out with just us. And it was a different experience. It started out really great. I'm picking out songs, singing with everyone.
I go,
Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. And if I stay, it will be double. So come on and let me know.
Sing with your brother.
See your fucking face. What is that secret?
But as we morphed into our old selves, trying to get as many songs in as possible, sing to our heart's content, the little one started getting a little impatient.
Wow, yeah, that's not for eating. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning, but the fire burned. Hey, throw it off there. Off.
And I mean, we planned the timing great. You know, right after Naya's nap, before dinner time, so in theory, this is prime time for family activities. But there were a few differences. Instead of a room full of adults taking turns singing and holding, entertaining, or feeding the kids, we had to do both, all, the whole time. It was hectic, to say the least. By the end, and we only stayed an hour this time, we really felt like it was time to go. We had a good time, but I think we were a little bit too ambitious in what we thought we could achieve. Anyway, that said, we were pretty lucky that we were in close proximity to nearby food and other activities that I mentioned earlier. We tried the brewery already, so we decided to check out the food hall. It was around 5 p.m., so before the big dinner rush, but it was also the weekend, so there were already a few people hanging out and playing games. Fortunately, though, it wasn't too busy, and we were able to snag a comfy spot on the balcony. Another positive here is that the railing was fully protected, so I didn't mind the little ones peering over to watch people play downstairs. It also gave us some free time to sit and relax a bit. Maybe one downside is that the food was okay, nothing special, except maybe this one thing called Flammkuchen, a flatbread with creme fraiche, mozzarella, onion, a little bit of bacon, and other toppings, which my husband raves about. It's a dish quite popular on the border between Germany and France, but, in my opinion, it was okay. This guy thought it was pretty good, though. In terms of convenience, affordability, and entertainment, this place fit our needs just right. Also, there was a family and friends group nearby with a kid close to Ettore age, which is also nice fun. Overall, our karaoke experience was good, but lots of considerations need to be made to ensure you get the best experience. Timing, location, snacks, contingency plan in case things go sour, and most importantly, aligning the experience with reasonable expectations. I'd rate our experience this time around a 6 out of 10. It was hectic, sure, but everything else was convenient. The place was super affordable, only 20 euros an hour because we went early, not too far by bike, and we were able to adjust quickly by moving next door, which gave the kids a pretty varied experience. If you're daring enough, I'd recommend it. Could be a bit biased, but you'll have to find out for yourself.